the 15 finals. It's something I've wanted to ask you about a long time. And we've talked to Iggy about this when he was on the pod a couple of years ago. Number one, did you feel like you deserved MVP in that finals? And number two, as sort of the one missing piece of the resume for the haters on Twitter, for the narrators on Twitter, how much did that sort of fuel you, motivate you, bother you up until this past season?
So the question, I feel like that I deserve it for sure, because I feel like comparison was the saying, comparison is a thief of joy. Right?
It's another Jeff Van Gundy quote.
Is it? I feel like when you're in, like, that was kind of what I was kind of talking about earlier. When you get into that finals, you don't understand the magnitude of the narrative, right? You don't really, and then when it's about you, there's no better lesson than being in it. And so that 2 weeks felt like an eternity, from game one going to overtime and winning, Kyrie getting hurt, to game two, the whole Dellavedova experience. And, that started the narrative of, our little back and forth. Bron was playing out of his mind. Then we go to Cleveland, we're down 2-1. And it's like, oh, you're comparing, my stats to other NBA or other MVPs in the finals, other finals MVPs. Then you get to game 3, 4, or 4, 5, 6, and we win 3 in a row and win the series. And Andre and his defense and his presence and that adjustment we made in the middle of the series, unlocking another level for us, and him playing out of his mind. Bron's still having crazy stats, but like, it's just the power of the narrative is it can distract you from what the actual goal is, right? So I felt like, obviously, we're not winning the finals if I don't play the way that I played. I felt like I played extremely well. We don't win the finals unless Andre plays, the way he did, and that adjustment working, and him giving us such a huge boost throughout the whole series. So we both thought we probably deserved it. I'm sure when he heard his name called, he was like, "No, it's him." And if it was me, it'd been the same thing. But it never dawned on me like I wouldn't have another opportunity to get one, or the fact that he didn't deserve it. So it's kind of I'm not trying to run around it. It's literally, that's how when you're in it. If that's how we got there, it's kind of very, it's very unique to the Warrior experience. Even when KD wins it twice, because it's the same kind of conversation. Like, I can go home, put my head on the pillow, and know, like, we're not winning unless I do my job.
You go for 27, 8, and 8 both years. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, you suck, dude. You didn't win MVP. You suck. No, actually, last year I can't remember. I don't know if it was before or after game 3. And I actually
last year?
This is last year. I want to push game 3 to later. But I don't know if it was before or after, but I remember, like, there were a couple days where people like, yo, if the Warriors win, man, like, Wiggins should get MVP. And I'm like, nah, man, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, he's playing great. And you're right. For y'all to win, Wiggins has to play great. What are we doing here?
It's amazing. I don't know if was it like this back in the Lakers dynasty days or the MJ dynasty. I don't know. I would love to go back in time and just relive the build up to the series, the in between games, all the different conversations, because you get bored of hearing the same stuff. You got to kind of get wrapped up in the series too.
The legacy part of it, and like
rewriting history in the moment.
The check boxes, right?
Yeah, in
the moment, the check box. Like we were actually having this conversation earlier about you specifically, and because we brought up last year and you winning Finals MVP, and I was like, people want to put Steph and Kevin and Bron, like, this is where they rank all time. And I'm like, dude, Steph's 34. He's averaging a career high. Can we wait like 5 years and just see what happens?
It's like the funny one I hear now is, you say I hear everything. It's like in my top 10 in the history of the game, right? That's the conversation. And it's like, oh, if I win that Finals MVP, like, oh, it helps. But everybody has their list and all that. And then going into this season, is he top 10 in who is sitting here making up, like you're talking about, who's sitting here at the gate of the top 10 list, like, all right, we got a check, that right there
Doesn't have
like,
that.
You're like you say, you're writing history in the moment, and it's when you talk about it, you're either going to be all the way over here, all the way over here, and it's always somewhere in the middle. So the only thing about the Finals MVP this year that just made me laugh was like, I'll never hear that question again. It kind of made me sad. It's like, I'll never hear that question again. Oh, he didn't have a Finals MVP, because now it's like, well, I get another. It just the goalpost changed, and that's when you're around long enough and you're playing games that matter. That's part of it.
Does whether or not you're top 10 or top 4 or top 5 or top 2 to your top 1 to your stands, like does any of that matter to you?
It might down the road, just because, like you said, when it's all said and done and I'm not playing a game, then we can have a legit conversation around what does it actually mean to be top 10? How do you compare eras and all that stuff? Of course, like you dedicate your life to this. Like you want to be recognized as one of the greatest. I'm not obsessed about it right now, because who the hell's making up this the requirements?
Perking me. Yeah. It's part of the other side where I get to hate on you.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm gonna have a microphone in 15 years and just pick my target with other current guys.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Wondery, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate you guys.